Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I'm back. I'm back to doing my monthly demos. Things got kind of a little bit crazy for me. Had to kind of stop with them, but I am back. I see a lot of people are joining. I see Caroline, Lori, Brett, Cindy. Oh, let's see, who else do I got? I've got a new setup here, so you'll kind of have to excuse me a little bit as I get back into this. Hi, Marianne. Nice to see you. Going to see a few of you I know on the upcoming cruise just in a couple of weeks. Cannot wait. We're going to have so much fun. But today I'm going to be talking about In the Hoop Designer software. So before we get started, a couple things. Use the hashtag garden. You can see it down in the bottom corner over there. Type it in just like that. And I'm going to give away a $20 gift card to Embroidery Garden to someone live at the end of the demo today. So just type it in, only type it in one time, and you will be entered into that drawing. So let's see what I got here on my notes. First off, I'm going to talk about a couple of things I have that are upcoming. So I'm going to go out to my All right, do you have sound now? Let's see, I'm waiting to see no audio. Somebody just put, I don't know why. The mic is on. Let's see. Okay, so you can hear me. Okay, great. Maybe it's because I put up that PowerPoint. Let me try doing it this way. Can you still hear me? All right, so June 12th from 2:30 to 3:30 Central, I'm going to be on sewingmachineplus.com's annual Hoop Fest, and I'm going to be talking about In the Hoop designer software again. We'll get more into some stuff. All right, someone says they hear me twice, so let me try to just, you know what? Oh my gosh, I knew this would happen. All right. Maybe I've got it fixed now. I think that now when I put something up on the screen, StreamYard's got a whole new kind of thing going on, and I think that was cutting out my audio. But I've got those 3 upcoming things. You go to embroiderygarden.com, you're going to see them going across that slider there. So you can sign up for Caroline's class. Remember to watch me on Sewing Machine Plus's annual Hoop Fest on June 12th And on June 18th, I've got the free virtual edge to edge quilting event going on. All right, so what am I going to talk about today? Well, talking about the new In the Hoop Designer software. And geez, I have a PowerPoint, but I don't know if it's going to let me talk and you hear me and me put this up on the screen. I'm going to try it one more time. And if it doesn't work, then I'm just going to have to forget doing that. But let's talk a little bit about what In the Hoop Designer software. Oh my gosh, I guess I'm just not going to be able to do my PowerPoints. I'm going to have to figure that out. But it's the new In the Hoop Designer software. I had some notes. Let me grab them over here real quick. Here's the PowerPoint. I had it set up so nice. But okay, so the In the Hoop Designer software, it's a collaboration between Designs and Machine Embroidery and me, Embroidery Garden. So what it is we have come out with a software allowing you to be an In the Hoop designer. We've made it really easy for you to do this. A lot of you out there already have the software, and I'm just so happy you guys love it and that you are posting, photos of things that you are making. It just really makes me happy and makes me want to continue to create tutorials and projects that you can make in the Hoop. So the software, it has over 200 In the Hoop templates. So these templates they're already In the Hoop designs, and you can take these templates and then you can customize them. And there are tons of different templates. I've got banners, different types of banners. There are different zipper bags, different shapes of zipper bags. There are zipper bags for number 3 zippers and for number 5 zippers. I know a lot of people like to use those number 5, so I included bags for those zippers. There are, of course, coasters, mug rugs, keychains, different types of hangings you can make, quilt blocks, and a lot more. Again, there are over 200 templates already set up in the software that basically you could just load on your machine and stitch out. And instructions for every one of those templates are included. But then you could take those templates and you can customize them. And that's what I'm going to be showing you today. The software also has over 1,200 designs, and that's like a completed design. There are florals, there are sayings, there are animals, there are insects, there are all kinds of already completed designs that you can add to the templates, change out what's in the templates, or you could bring in something that you already have on your computer from somewhere else and put it on the template. There are over 1,300 charm designs. And a charm design is a design that's basically around 2 inches in size. It's for those smaller items like coasters, keychains, mug rugs, etc. There are also 30 buttonholes. And what can you do with a buttonhole? Well, you can make a tag with an eyelet in it. If you can see that rectangular pink hanging behind me, I used buttonholes to put that ribbon through to be able to display that. So there are 30 buttonholes that you can use for various projects. There are a total of 15 fonts inside the software, 12 what I'll call regular fonts. There are some like block style and some cursive style, and there are 3 monogram fonts. There are shaping tools, and I think I'm going to show you a little bit about that in the demos today. And there are artwork tools, including the exclusive eraser. The eraser is only available in the Hoop Designer software. It's not in any of the other Dime or Designs and Machine Embroidery software. We also have the exclusive one-click double-sided applique feature, which I'll talk a little bit about today when I get started on the actual demo. And as I said before, there are printable instructions for everything. You just click on instructions. When you have that project open up, you can print it and start stitching. The software runs on Windows or Macs. Caroline says she loves the eraser. I know. Donna bought it when it came out, but you haven't been able to try it. You need to get to it. And I'm going to be focusing a lot on the software because I'm heavily involved in the development of it, and I just love it. And I'm just so proud of it. Also, within the software, you can create SVG files. Did you see my shirt here? It says I can totally make that using In the Hoop Designer software. And I totally made this shirt. And I'm going to show you a couple other things today too, where you can use these feature to create SVGs, FCMs, or other types of cutting files for other types of cutters. So the software is jam-packed, and you can get it at embroiderygarden.com. Just if you go there, you're going to see it on the front page. You can click on it, read more about it, purchase it. You immediately get your serial number and you can activate it. So that's really all I have to say right now about the software. In other demos and things, I will get into it a little bit more. Let me see. I want to look at my notes here and see what else I got. So I doing this demo on the second Wednesday of the month. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to be consistent in my demos, and I'm going to see how it goes with the second Wednesday of every month. So that means the next demo coming up is going to be June, I think it's June 11th will be the next one that I do. And that's when I am going to dive a little bit deeper into the In the Hoop Designer software. And I'm going to show you samples close up. I'm going to let you really get a good look at, some of the fills that you can use, and, some of the line properties that you can use, and all of those type things. I think it's important to really show you what you can make, whether it's just built in and you are loading and stitching, or it's something you want to create from scratch. So that's what the June demo will be all about. And I'll be putting something up soon about that, so you can get prepared to watch it. The other thing I want to say is, if you are interested in my demos and lives and things that I'm doing, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel. Facebook is starting to delete older live videos. I got the notice that they're supposed to start deleting some of mine. I think it's pretty soon, coming up about the 25th of May. And what they're going to do is they're going to delete older lives off of your Facebook page, and they're only going to keep new lives that you do for 30 days. So if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, YouTube is a lot better about sending out those notifications for you to get whenever I do go live. And you can search on the YouTube page. So say you want to find this demo again and it's months down the road, you can search, In the Hoop Designer software or something, and then those videos will come up. Or if you want to search for something else that I did, you can easily find it. And also, I can categorize videos on the YouTube channel. So that's why I say, go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. It's free. All you got to do is just click the button, and then you'll get the notices when I go live. And for those of you just joining, don't forget about the hashtag garden. Get that hashtag garden in, and then at the end of this demo, I'll give away a $20 gift card. Marianne says she loves to be watching on YouTube. Yeah, I like YouTube too. Darlene wants to know if, let's see, let me look over here. She loves watching on YouTube. And Darlene wants to know if the older Facebook Lives will be on the YouTube channel. Most of the things that I streamed have been streamed both to Facebook and YouTube. I can't guarantee everything. That's why I going to push everyone to go to the YouTube channel now, just because of the way that Facebook is doing some things. And let's see, I just saw another one. Let me get this one up here. Things have really changed in StreamYard for me. I've been gone too long now. And Aline says, thank you for the support for the In the Hoop Designer software. It's exactly what she needs. And yes, I am fully vested in helping people with the brand new software. I helped develop it. And so, I mean, it's, you know, my name is associated with it. So I am going to be supporting it. You can be guaranteed of that. All right, so what are we going to do today? Let me show you what we're actually going to do. So when I talk about a template, this is the towel topper template in the software. And let me grab this actually. So this is the actual template that is in the software. You can see it's got some curved quilting on here. Hold it up a little bit. This design on here, Kale, yeah. This is one of those built-in designs I was talking about. You know, again, there are flowers, there are bugs, there are animals, there's all kinds of things. So this is one of those built-in designs. Now, I opened up the design through the wizard, and then this is what I've done with it. I decided on this. I did not want a design because I had this cute little cherry fabric. So I didn't want to put a design on there, but if I wanted to, I certainly could have. But notice the different quilting. You see that? Those cherries. I easily created this quilting using built-in artwork that was this one cherry. So I brought in this cherry, and then I copied and pasted it. And you can see right here, I turned it upside down, and then I created all this quilting. And that's what I'm going to show you today. So I took this original one that's built in that you could just load and stitch, and then I customized it. And then I created a matching applique. So for the applique, I used a built-in shape. And I see that Darlene is asking a template for a doorknob sign hanger. Yes, there is one in the software. So you can load it, stitch it, or load it and customize it. So again, for this applique that I created, I brought in this shape. There are tons of shapes in the software. I brought in this shape. And basically, to turn it into an applique, I clicked on it and then clicked on applique, and it turned it into an applique. It added the placement, the tack down, and the satin stitch going around, the finishing stitch. Now I added this underneath here, this blanket stitch, just to give this a little bit more oomph. I just thought it made it look really cute. The cherry, that's built-in design, completely finished design in the software. And to get this applique, I basically chose the tack down, copied and pasted it, and then turned it into that blanket stitch to add underneath the finished stitch. Now, let's say you didn't want a satin stitch finish. You could change it. You could do a candle wick. You could do a motif. You could do a stem stitch. You could use this blanket stitch, E-stitch, as the finishing stitch if you wanted to. There is so much that you can do. Now, earlier when I was talking about the features of the software, I talked about a one-click double-sided applique. So a double-sided applique means that the back side of your applique would be finished. Now in this one, I didn't, I chose just not to do it. But instead of choosing applique on this shape, I could have chosen double-sided applique, and it would have again created the placement, the tack down. It would have put then in another tack down so that after I stitched whatever I wanted inside the applique, I could put a piece of fabric back here and it would do the tack down. Then I could trim both sides and then do the finishing stitch. And then all you would see on the back side would be your piece of fabric covering everything, and then your outline stitch, whatever you wanted to use as the finishing stitch. So then here's my cute little towel topper. And again, the instructions tell you exactly how to stitch this. We're going to go over that a little bit later. I also created this oven mitt. Now, how I created the oven mitt was a little bit different. The oven mitt is not built in. This was artwork. There's an artwork shape that is, you know, the outline of basically an oven mitt. So I chose that. And again, I did that quilting. You can see that little adorable little cherry quilting that I did. I did it on the front side and the back side of this. This I did in 2 hoopings. And, you know, I put my hand in, I can grab my hot things out of the oven. This is not, though, fully lined on the inside. I do have a raw edge. On this, I don't care. I mean, it's a pot holder. It still looks nice on the inside. I have a layer of Embroidery and batting on this outside part, and a layer of Embroidery and batting on this part. So I can wear it on either hand, and my hand is still protected with Embroidery and batting. And then for this one, I just added my own binding. I just cut a strip and then just stitched it all the way around. So that's how I created that. On my website, I do have a set of pot holders that, you know, they're completely made in the hoop, fully lined. If you wanted to, you know, do that, you could purchase, you know, that set off of my website. Could this be fully lined and, you know, all that? Yes, it could be. You would just have to know the steps, you know, of how to do it. One of the goals of the software for me is to teach you how to create in the hoop designs and to think through the process. And that's what in the hoop is. You got to think through the process. And so I think as you start working in the software, you're going to start learning that. It's just a process of steps. So are there any questions before we start to go into, I think first I'm going to do the towel topper. Let me look and see for some questions. And let's see, Pat wants to know what thread I used on the oven mitt. I just used my regular embroidery thread. Your embroidery thread has got a high heat threshold. And, you know, a pot holder, you're reaching in the oven, you're grabbing something out. It's not like you're just holding it over a flame, you know, so using regular embroidery thread is perfectly fine. And Darlene says, it's an adorable set. It is a perfect hostess gift and a beautiful item that you can use for showers, etc. It does make a great set. And everything you need is right there in the software. You don't need any other software. You can do it all within in the Hoop Designer. And I was going to say something else, and it just kind of lost me right there. But let's see, one more comment. Such a cute and versatile set. Thanks, Heidi. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play the video of the towel topper, and then I'll see if there are any questions after that. So let me get that loaded. To create the towel topper, I used a built-in template in the Hoop Designer software. I'm going to go up to the wizard in the upper left. Under template, I'm going to click open, drop down to kitchen, and choose towel topper. Click OK, and it brings up the In the Hoop wizard on the screen. I'm not going to make any changes via the wizard. I'm just going to bring this onto the screen by clicking OK. At this time, I'm not going to be adding any designs on here. I'm going to let my quilting and my fabric stand out, so I'm just deleting those designs off of there. So to create my own quilting, I'm going to draw a rectangle. So I'm going to come up to the drawing tools, choose rectangle, and just draw a little rectangle over here. If you don't know the size, the stitchable field of your hoops, you can click on hoop to bring up a hoop. This is going to be stitched in the 6x10 hoop on my Brother machine. So I choose that hoop, click OK, and it puts the design in the hoop. I really don't want this design in the hoop for right now. Put it off to the side. Whoops. Let me grab everything. I want to put my rectangle in the hoop. And I'm just going to kind of pull out the side to make it fit because I need all of the stitchable field for this. Now you can leave the hoop up. I'm going to remove it just because I now know that my rectangle is going to fit in the hoop. It just makes it easier for you to see. So for my towel topper, I created custom quilting, that little cherry pattern. So to do that, let's go up to the shapes icon, drop down to food, and I chose the single cherry. Click OK. It puts it on the screen. I want to come over to the upper right and click on the transform button to see how big it is. Right now it's 1.32 by 2.56. I'm going to drop the width down to 1.25 just because I think it needs to be a little bit smaller because this item, the towel topper, is not really big itself. So to add a little bit of interest to my quilting, I took the cherry and I copied it, pasted it, and flipped it. Now I'm going to move it over just so these two pieces kiss. And let's zoom in a little bit here. And I'm just going to take the one that I flipped and just move it over by holding down the control key and the arrow right and get them just so they're touching, just kissing. And now let's zoom back out. I'm going to take these two cherries to create my pattern. Go up to the repeat tool. And as you see here, the number across defaults to 3. The number down defaults to 3. I want to be looking at this final size number down here. If I have 3 across, the final width will be 7.25, which works. It's going to be bigger than the rectangle I drew, but the number down, I need to add some more because it needs to be over 10. So now I've got it at 12.3. That works. I always like to zoom in here because I want to have everything touching. You can see right here, they're not touching, and then at the bottoms, they're not really touching. So to change that, let's start with the horizontal distance. I'm going to drop it down, and as you can see, every time I click, they're getting closer and closer together. Again, I want them just to kiss in these areas here. The vertical distance, these columns touching, I'm going to drop it down. It looks like I only need a couple of clicks. Now I have everything kissing. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click OK. Brings it onto the screen. I'm going to center it how I want it over that rectangle. Now when you're filling something, you need to have what you are filling, which is the rectangle, in front of what you're filling it with. So I'm going to take the rectangle, right click, come down to order, and put it to the front. So now what I'm filling it with, the cherries, is behind what I am filling. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select all of that and hit crop. And you can see it cropped it down to fit within my rectangle. Now each one of these elements in here is separate. So I want to select them all and I'm going to click combine. And that puts it all into one piece. Right now, everything is still artwork. So I'm going to right click on it. Whoops, I'm going to select it. I'm going to right click, convert to a run. Now this might take a little bit of time depending on the complexity of what you're creating here. Let the program do its work. Don't think that, it's stuck or something. It is going to take it a moment or two to figure out its path. As you can see now, it's done. Over here, it's opened up the run window. Personally, I like the length to be 2.5, so I'm just going to change that, hit apply. And again, it might take it a minute or two to go in and change the length of all of those stitches. I'm going to drop down to the palette at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to right click on a red color just to change that to red. Now let's go back over to the sequence window. That rectangle that I drew, it's still artwork. So I'm going to click on it to select it, right click, convert to, and convert it to a run. So this is just like a single run, and I'm going to drop it down to 2.5 on the stitch length, hit apply. But I need to put it in front of the quilting file. So I'm going to go ahead and click it, click order, and make it go backward. Because the idea of this is going to be the rectangle stitches down. It's holding my fabric and my batting and everything down. And then I'm going to do the quilting on top. I'm going to make both of these the same color because I don't need a stop in there. So here's my quilting file. If I look over at the sequence window again, I see I have a placement, I have the quilting, and I have the step that actually sews all the pieces together on the topper. I need to move my quilting to where it needs to be in the topper. So I put it right by this original quilting. I don't need the original quilting anymore, so I'm going to delete it. At this time, I'm going to take my topper and I'm going to center it in the hoop here. You just kind of center it. I can grab everything, come up to the top menu bar and center a line to get everything straight. So again, let's go back over here and see how things stitch out in the sequence window. That first thing, that's a placement. And that was for the original topper. I really don't need that anymore because I'm going to be doing all my quilting first. I don't need to know where the topper itself is going to stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. So the first thing for me that will stitch will be a rectangle, then it will go into my quilting, then the machine will stop, and I will put down my next fabric piece that will stitch everything together. It does look like, let's see, this last step here is a red color. It's not the same red as the other one. I'm just going to go ahead and change it at the palette at the bottom to a darker color to see. And this is now how I stitched out the topper. All right, that was pretty easy, wasn't it? So are there any questions about doing the tile topper? Again, within the wizard, you can click on instructions when you have the towel topper brought up, and it will take you step by step through how to stitch the topper. If you are familiar with any of my designs, you know that I have detailed step-by-step instructions with photos, and those type of instructions are included in the software. So I'm going to see if there are any questions about the topper before we go on, and I'm going to show you how to create that applique. Heidi says, I make it look very easy. Well, it is, Heidi, really. We put that wizard in the software to make it very easy for you. And the great thing about that wizard, when you bring in a template and you want to change it or anything, it keeps the steps in order, which is the most important thing for in the hoop designs, is keeping the steps in order, because we know what happens if the steps get out of order. And if you're not familiar with how something needs to stitch and order that it needs to stitch in, the wizard is there to help you. All right, I want to, let's see. Dolores says, can you bring in a design for out of in the hoop to use? So if you're talking about a template, so let's say you had another one of my in the hoop designs and you can't bring that in through the template, through the wizard. Only the designs that are built in, over those over 200 in the Hoop Design files. You can bring it, you can open up any design in the software and use it, but it's not the same as coming through the template where everything stays in order and all you have to do is just click on something to change it. But you can, bring in other designs instead of like having the cherry on here, which is built into the software. Say you have something else, you have another cherry that you like better in your stash, you can bring that in and add it to something, definitely. So let's see, are there any other questions? Okay, so let's talk about now how I created that applique. That's pretty easy to do. So I'm going to play the video for that, and then we'll talk a little bit about that afterwards. If you have any questions, let me know. To create the applique for the towel, I used a built-in shape. Come up to the shapes icon, click on it. I went down to borders and I chose border number 2. Click OK and it puts it on the screen. To turn this into an applique, I can either go along the top menu bar here, or I can just right click, convert to applique, and this is an applique. It will open up the applique window here in the upper right, and I can make some changes if I want. The applique width, I like it to be 4.0, and I'm going to drop down and put a check mark in front of change colors. What that is going to do is it's going to give my tack down and placement a separate color. I'm going to hit apply. While this is selected, I'm just going to come down and along the palette at the bottom, I'm going to right click on the color that I want. I had changed mine to a green. If I go over to the sequence window and let's click the little plus sign, you can tell that this is an applique. I'm going to right click on it and break up the path. I'm breaking up the path because I want to easily create that little blanket stitch, that E-stitch that I had underneath the satin stitch as a little decorative element. So to do that, I can easily come over and choose the applique part, the satin stitch, and I can copy and paste it up here at the top. Come over to the applique window on the right, and where it says satin, I'm going to change it to E-stitch. Now I'm going to change my inset to about 90, and I'm going to click apply. I am going to drop down and change this to a red color in the palette, right click on the color I want it to be, and let's look at it. Let me put it in realistic. Let's see, it is in realistic mode. But this is how I got that little decorative element underneath the satin stitch. Right now you can see it's not underneath the satin stitch. So if I select it, right click on it, drop down to order, move it backward, now you can see it's underneath the satin stitch. If you click on it again and you want to make any kind of changes, let's say you want the E-stitch, you want the little bites to be longer, I can change that number to 4.5. Let's hit apply and see how it changes. See how they got longer here. You can, if you want, have more or less bite marks. Right now the length is set to 3.5. Let's drop it down to 3, and you can see it's going to change slightly and put a few more in there. Play with those numbers, get it to look the way that you want. And then all I did was bring in a charm design that's up here along the top menu bar. Choose charms. I came down to food and drink, and I took this cherry, click OK, and it puts it on the screen. I just kind of tilted mine a little bit. If you want to resize it, you can. I can select everything and then come up to the top menu bar and click center align, and it puts the cherries in the middle of the applique. Now it's okay for this design to stitch with the placement, tack down my decorative E-stitch, then come with my satin stitch over top, and then stitch my design last. And that's how I created the applique to go on the towel. All right. Does anyone have any questions about that? I hear my dogs barking. I hope you don't really hear them barking. Okay, so we got Elizabeth says she hasn't bought the software yet, but wanted to know if you are limited to what is built into the software. So if you mean what you bring in through the template, where you come in through the wizard, you can only bring in what is in the software, those over 200 templates. You can bring in any design that you want, but bringing in designs from like, any other digitizer and stuff, you can't just easily do what I'm doing right now because digitizers use different software to create their designs. A lot of digitizers usually lock their files, meaning they make it harder for you to make changes, etc. But the things that you create in the software, like that applique that I just showed, that was using a shape. That was not a template built in. So the towel topper is a template built in, and this is a shape that was built in that you created a design from. And then when we do this pot holder, this is a shape that I created and in the hoop design from. So I hope that answers your question. Um, yeah, okay. I think that that did answer hers. Let's see what else we got. Terry is asking, can you send the designs wireless to the Avenir now? I don't think yet, Terry. So what she's talking about is within the Dime software, if you have a wireless or a Wi-Fi capable machine, like the Luminaire, the Solaris, or the any Brother or Baby Lock machine, you can just click a button to send the design to the machine. You don't even have to convert it. It automatically will convert it. But for the brand new machines, the Avenir and the Radiance, I think Brother may have changed something. And so Dime is working on that still. I mean, it's going to take them a little bit of time to do that. But not other brands, but other models of the machines that are Wi-Fi capable, you can certainly click the button and send it to them. All right. Cindy wants to know if I can show the double applique feature. I am going to do that on something else coming up, probably on next month's demo that I was going to do on, I believe it's the 11th. Or I'm also going to try to do some little like pop-up, just, hey, I got time. Let me hop on Facebook and show you something that I can do that's kind of quick and easy. And that is definitely one of them that I can do. Let's see. I'm looking to see if there are any other questions before we go on to show you the oven mitt. Now, the oven mitt, again, I am using artwork that is inside of the program. Now, you can bring in other artwork. You're just not limited to, I forget what I said, over 300 shapes and pieces of artwork that are built in the software. You got an SVG file from somewhere else, you can bring that in and work on it. So the software really truly is very, very versatile. And you can create those SVG files if you like to work with your cutter. So Elizabeth says the oven mitt is her favorite design and she needs to make some to replace her old ones. So let's go ahead and let me bring that video up and show you how I created that. To create the oven mitt, I used a built-in shape. In the upper left, click the Shapes tool, drop down to Home, and click Oven Mitt. Click OK, and it puts it on the screen. I rotated the design because this is the orientation it will be stitched in the hoop. I don't need this little part here, so I'm just going to delete it. With the design selected, in the upper right, I'm going to click Transform, and it's going to tell me what size it is. For my oven mitt, I made the height be 10.75, and the width defaults to almost 7. Now, when I look at this mitt, my main concern might be that the thumb area might be a little tight, and maybe down here where the rest of my fingers goes. So I'm going to click the shape tool in the upper left, and I'm just going to kind of manipulate this thumb area a little bit, making a little bit wider. And I'm going to move this a little bit too so that I can make this area here a little bit wider. One concern is you don't want this area right here to be a sharp point. You want it to have a little bit of curve to it so that when the mitt is done and turned, this area lays nice and flat. You can even come over here and kind of manipulate this line to bring the thumb out a little bit more if you feel you need it. So I'm going to select it again, and I am just going to check my size over here. It's still going to fit within the hoop I'm going to stitch it in, so that's good. At this point, what I suggest you do is go and, with it selected, convert it to a run so that you can print it. It doesn't matter what settings anything is at right now, but you do have to convert it to a run so that you can go to File and print this. I'm just going to click on Print Preview so you can see what I mean. It will print it out like this, and once it's printed, place your hand down on top and make sure that you have enough wiggle room for your fingers here and enough wiggle room for your thumb. If not, you come back and select it, select the shape tool, and move your points around some more. While it's selected, or I'm going to select it, I'm going to select the eraser on the left-hand side, and I'm going to erase this line here at the end. When we stitch this, we need this open here at the end so that this is how we're going to stick our hand into it. And let me make sure I get that out of there. Okay. So for right now, I'm just going to select this and move it off to the side, because now we're going to create the quilting file just like we did for the towel topper to quilt the fabrics for the oven mitt. I'm going to go up to the top to the drawing tool. I'm going to select rectangle, draw a rectangle, select it, and check the size over in the upper right with the transform button. And I'm going to be stitching this in my 8x12 hoop, so I'm going to make sure it fits. I can tell right now that it's not going to fit. If you don't know the width and height of the stitchable field of your hoop, then you can always come to the left-hand side, click on hoop, find the hoop you're going to use. I'm going to be using my Brother 8x12 hoop. I can see that it's selected right here. I'm going to hit OK. It puts the hoop on the screen. It put my mitt in there, so let's just move my mitt out of the way. And I'm going to take that rectangle and size it so that I know that it fits within this hoop. It's a little bit wide, and it's a little bit long. So now I know that this will stitch in my 8x12 hoop. I'm going to get rid of my hoop, and now I'm just going to work with this rectangle. Again, we're going to do the same thing, build that quilting file. I'm going to go to the Shapes tool, drop down to Food, pick the cherry, say OK. Over here in the Transform window, I had changed the width of the other one when we did the topper to 1.25, so let me do that again. I am going to, let me zoom in a little bit, copy it, paste it, and flip it. I'm going to move it so that these two elements are just kissing each other. Select both of them, come up to the Repeat tool. It opens up this repeat screen. Again, I'm down here looking at this final size because I need it to completely cover the rectangle. So it does need to be a little bit wider, and I need to increase the number down so that it fits over the entire rectangle that I created. And let's see, let me zoom in here a little bit. And it looks like everything is kissing except going across. So the horizontal distance, let's bring that down. You see it moving. And I want them just to kiss. And it looks like they're kissing going the other way. So I'm going to hit OK. Puts that on the screen. I'm going to put it over top of my rectangle. Just kind of move it however you want it to be on there. But remember what we are filling, the rectangle needs to come in front of what we're filling it with. Whoops. So let me select that rectangle, right click, come down to order and put it forward so that it is in front of the cherries that we are filling it with. Select both of these and hit the crop tool. Now the cherries are cropped with inside of that rectangle. All I'm doing right now is I'm going to get this on the screen so we can see it a little bit better. Each one of these though right now is a separate piece. So I'm going to take all of those cherries, select them and hit combine. This puts it into one piece. This is still artwork at this point. So I'm going to right click, convert to a run. This is where it's going to take the program a minute or so to find the path and to create the stitches. You can see that now it's created its path. Up here at the stitch length, it's 3.25. My personal preference is 2.5, so I'm going to change it, hit apply. It's going to take it another minute because it is going back through now and changing all of these stitch lengths to be 2.5. Once it's done that, while those cherries are selected, I'm just going to come down to the palette at the bottom, right click on a red color to change the color of them. If we look back on the sequence window on the right, here is our rectangle. It's still artwork, so I'm going to right click on it, convert it to a run, opens up the run window. I like it to be 2.5, hit apply. And while that's selected, I'm going to drop down to the palette at the bottom of the screen, right click on that same color to apply the same color as the cherries. But if we look over, excuse me, in the sequence window, our tack down for our quilting stitches after the quilting. So let's just select it, right click, go to order and backwards so that it is to the back now. Now we have our oven mitt. Right now, if we click on it, we see that it's a standard run. I like this final stitch to be a bean, so I'm going to change it to bean, hit apply, and I'm going to drop down to the palette. I'm just going to make it be a black color, and I'm going to put it inside of that quilting. Now it needs to stitch last because we're going to stitch our quilting. We're going to take our first piece that we quilted, put it on top, then it's going to stitch that outline. So with the outline selected, I'm going to right click, come down to order and bring it to the front. The last thing I'll do is I'm going to select everything and hit the center align button. So at this point, I would save this as oven mitt 2, and then I would take this oven mitt outline only. I can delete it and I would save this as oven mitt 1 because this is the first file I will stitch. All right, so that's how I created the oven mitt. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the hooping and stuff that I did on the mitt. I did want to answer Joyce's. She's been asking me some questions over in the chat area. Joyce, if you could email me, take a picture of what you got on your screen and email me, I can help you better that way. It'll help me to understand what you're trying to accomplish. But let's talk about how I stitched out the mitt because I said I did this in 2 hoopings. So let me show you. So here's the mitt. Now on that, I did not use any stabilizer. So remember, you're first going to stitch one quilted part. So this is not even the hoop I'm using to stitch this mitt. This is just going to be a little demonstration here. So my lining fabric goes down in the hoop first. And you can see this is my lining fabric. And let me zoom in a little bit because you can see the quilting. I did it, I put red down in the bobbin, so it's a little hard to see, but you know, the quilting goes through the main fabric to the lining fabric. So I hoop the lining fabric upside down. This is the wrong side facing up. So let me just turn it over and show you. There's the right side. So no stabilizer, hoop that lining fabric. Then I put down my piece of Embroidery. Then I put down a piece of batting, just regular, you know, cotton type batting. Then I put down my piece of my main fabric right side up. Put it on the machine, and it's going to stitch that rectangle that holds everything down. Then it's going to stitch those little cherries. This comes out of the hoop, and then I do the same thing again. I hoop my fabric upside down, my lining fabric, batting, or I'm sorry, Embroidery batting, and then put this on top. Let it stitch the rectangle to hold everything down, stitches the cherry quilting. Then I take that first hooping that I did, place it so that it's, you know, the fabrics are matching, main fabric to main fabric. And then, well, this would actually be turned like this in the hoop. Then it would do this outline for the mitt. Take it out of the hoop, trim around. I trimmed with some pinking shears. Maybe you can see that a little bit. And then all I did was, make sure you clip into your curves, especially around the thumb, this area here, and around where your hand goes. And that's what's going to make this relax really nicely and, you know, have everything push out nice. And then all I did was cut a piece of binding and then just sewed it around the opening here. So that's how the mitt was sewn, because there would not be any instructions for the mitt, because remember, this was not a template built into the software. This was something created from artwork. I want to show you something else I created just the other day, and I made a little matching coaster. I stitched this coaster on it's OESD's Luxe Sparkle Vinyl in white. And I put a piece of clear vinyl, which also comes from OESD, on top. And I do that just because I like the look. I mean, it really makes it very nice and shiny. Plus, I can wipe it off, and it protects all of my stitching, all of my thread from, you know, getting any anything on it, anything from a glass or anything. These were just circles. All of this, what I'm calling stacked stitches here on this, are just circles that I applied different motifs to. So I've got 1, 2, 3 of those. And then this outer stitch is a bean stitch. And that's what I, excuse me, and that's what I use to stitch the whole thing together. And I also created an SVG file. So I knew, so that I could cut my vinyl and my clear vinyl, and you can see how perfectly round it is and how everything lines up nicely. And this was just so easy to create. Again, it was that same cherry fabric. And so that was just another cute little fun project that I was able to create in the software. Those type of projects are very easy to do. And again, with all of these 3 pieces together, of course, you'd make a whole set of coasters, but that would be a fantastic, you know, gift that you could give to someone at a shower or anything like that. All right, let's see how I can get me back on the screen here. There we go. All right, so are there any questions about that? I got one more thing to show you before I am done. Marianne says it's just an adorable set. It really, really is. So one more tip before I let you go today on the towel topper. And let's take another look at that. So it does close with a snap. So when I install snaps, when you install a snap, usually snaps come with what they call an awl. And an awl it's just a long, sharp pointed steel rod that you push through all the layers of fabric so that you can have a place to install your snap. Well, I got a brand new tool, and let me just grab it here. Because when I put in a snap, what I like to do is create an actual hole, not just from the awl, because to me, it leaves a little bit of fabric or batting, in there. Even if I use vinyl making a keychain, I like to create an actual nice little hole. What it does is it allows the prong, and that's this sharp pointy part sticking up out of the cap of the snap, to really go through there really nicely, not get caught in anything. And it just makes your snaps install better. So what I got was this tool called the Perfect Punch Tool, from OESD. And it comes with 3 punches. And let me just kind of zoom in here a little bit. It's hard to see because they're black, but let's see. Here is the large one, and they just pull out. So this is the large punch. There is a really small punch. Or wait a minute, this is the medium punch. And then I got the really small one down here in the end. Let me get the cap back on. They store right here in the cap, so that's nice. And just to change them out, all you do is unscrew this part, and then you can take the punch out and put a different one in. Another thing I like about taking this punch out, I don't know if you can see. Let me hold it up higher. I don't think you can see, but the hole that's in there, it goes all the way through. And you know how you get little bits and pieces stuck in things? So if you get like little bits of the fabric or whatever stuck in here, just stick something through there and push them out the bottom. So I really like that. Let me get this screwed back on. And again, it might be hard to tell, but see this area right here? This thing kind of operates to me like a drill bit. And I don't know. I think it's really cool the way that it operates. And I'm going to show you that here in a second. You can also get these little tiny mats. These are little like cutting mats. These are so adorable. They're double-sided. They come in the pack of 2, and you use them with your little punch. Now, this sample that I made here represents the towel topper. It's got fabric. I actually used foam in my towel topper. So this isn't batting. This is actually that sew-any shape foam that I love to use. And then another piece of fabric. So that represents this right here. So to use it, you just line up wherever you want your snap, take the tool, and you're just going to press down. And then look at this nice hole in there. See it? I'm going to move my finger behind it. But look at what a really nice hole it made in there, so that now when I put my snap through the prong, look how nice that sticks out. And that's what you want, so that you can get the other part of your snap put on, and then you put it in your press and just press it together. And that's how you get your snaps on really nice, and make sure that they stay on. Because if you get a bunch of fabric or batting up underneath your snap, that's what's going to probably make it fall off or not install so well. So that's my new coolest tool. It's the Perfect Punch from OESD. Love that. All right, let's see what else I have. Oh, we got to do the giveaway. So get your giveaway in while I bring up the thing that's going to pick the winner. #garden, just like you see on the screen, right below that punch tool. Let me bring that up. All right, we got 93 people entered. I'm going to hit draw, and it's going to pick a winner for me. You're going to get a $20 gift card to embroiderygarden.com, and the winner needs to email me at support@embroiderygarden, and the winner is Linda McCurdy. So Linda, send me an email, support@embroiderygarden.com, and I'll get that gift certificate to you. Let me get back to where we're at. So I hope that you enjoyed today's demo. I know I had a few little technical things. Like I said, just getting back into doing my demos, but follow Embroidery Garden on Facebook and you'll know when I'm planning a demo or when I just do a pop-up demo. So if there aren't any other questions, I'm going to let you go for today, and hopefully you will get the software and start playing with it. It's so much fun. I play with it every day and I just love it. Let's see. Love my tea. Yes, if you weren't here earlier, I did create that in the Hoop Designer software. So thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it and have a great day.